fellow Toastmasters and guests. This evening I'm going to talk to you about a national obsession, and that is the love of football. Will anyone here say that they consider themselves a football fan? Only one person? Or two people? Well, you guys are actually the minority of people in this country. Most people in this country consider themselves football fans. I do consider myself one, but I did not watch any football this Sunday, but I did go to the movies, and I saw the new movie called Concussion starring Will Smith. And in this movie, Will Smith portrays a forensic pathologist by the name of Dr. Bennet Omalu. And in this movie, it chronicles Dr. Omalu's charge to make it awareness to people that playing football can cause dramatic brain injuries and even cause some players to commit suicide. But as I was watching this movie, there was one line that really stuck out in my mind, and I could not get past this one line throughout the whole movie. Dr. Omalu was talking to an advisor, and his advisor said to him, "You're going to war with a corporation that owns a day of the week. One the church used to own, now it's theirs." I thought, how can you say something so dramatic? How can something so dramatic like that be true? Who owns a day of the week? Is that even possible? So I started looking up some statistics, and when I share these with you, you may reconsider that maybe that statement is in fact true. And these statistics are based on the year 2014 and are provided by NBC Sports. Number one is they said 34 out of the 35 most watched programs during the fall were indeed an NFL game. The only one that wasn't was the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Number two, 205 million Americans watch at least one NFL game a year. That makes up 70% of the American population. And number three, the average NFL game brings in 17.6 million viewers per game. That is an incredible number of people sitting watching a football game. So it makes me think that perhaps that is a true statement, that the NFL does actually own Sunday. But I asked, is the NFL really deserving one day of your week? When I started doing some more research, I had some more questions about how did the NFL become so popular in the first place. It used to be one day that baseball was America's game. That was America's sport. But that definitely is no longer the case. Football is now the sport of choice for Americans. It started back in 1958 when the National Football League decided that they would televise the game nationally. And no other major sport team or sport game had done this. And when they televised this nationally championship game, it brought in 45 million viewers. The next big event didn't happen until a little over a decade later in 1970 when the NFL decided they were going to introduce Monday Night Football. So now they had Sunday on lock and they have Monday Night Football. And within 2 years, according to a Gallup poll, football has surpassed baseball as the #1 sport. But there are also other things that the NFL did to bring in more viewership. For example, the popular football player John Madden back in 1988 introduced his video game, Madden Football. And though it's been almost 30 years since this game has been out, it's still as popular as it was when it was first introduced. Also, there's the idea of playing fantasy football, where people can pick their own players and simulate a game. And the NFL introduced their version of fantasy football back in 2010. And then there's also the gambling aspect to football. It is said that the NFL will release injury statistics just so people know how to properly bet on a game. These things combined have turned the NFL into a $9 billion powerhouse. And if you think they're ready to stop, you better forget it. They're going to do what they need to do to make sure they're a national obsession. They already have Sunday, they have Monday nights, and starting in 2006, they started Thursday night football. But they didn't stop there either. They want to go further. They want to take it as far as making football a national holiday as well. So many people watch the Super Bowl that there are petitions and NFL executives who are pushing for the Super Bowl to be a national holiday. And why shouldn't it be when the National Retail Federation says that consumer spending reaches $12.3 billion just for that one day alone? And I'm sure many of you know that the Super Bowl is coming right here to San Francisco, and it's going to be an 8-day party, and the mayor of San Francisco, Ed Lee, is getting ready and is spending $4 million of taxpayer dollars to get ready for the Super Bowl. Not only that, he's also making sure that the 3,000 homeless of San Francisco will be removed from the city streets by building temporary shelter. But I've heard from a city employee that that shelter is indeed temporary, that they will be put back on the streets once the Super Bowl is over. So I ask again, is the NFL really deserving a day of your week? Are mothers going to stop putting their little kids into Pee-wee football because of the concerns that they may get a brain injury or potentially commit suicide when they get older? Are people going to still continue to put their faith aside because they're ready to sit and watch a football game all day long? Is the NFL really worth a day of your week? I'm sure their answer is yes, and they will give you 9 billion reasons why. Thank you. And any questions following the speech?
I have a question. Is it true that the NFL does not pay income tax? Is that still true?
It's something I would not know the answer
Because I've heard that they don't even pay income tax.
You mean the players or the
The
corporations?
NFL
to. The
itself.
corporation itself.
Yeah, the ones that make money.
I wonder why they wouldn't pay taxes.
Because they got a loophole where they bring people in, scholarships, college, so it's they make it out to be
Like
educational.
a nonprofit.
Despite the fact that it's ruining their brains, but they don't pay taxes.
Oh, I guess it is, but it's considered educational, yeah. And what was the 206 million people watch it on a regular basis?
No, 205 million people have watched the NFL game within 1 year, within like one season.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Just
Who's your favorite team?
My favorite team, I would say, is the 49ers, but I'm not a real big fan anymore. I used to be one of the people who sat and watched games all day, but no longer can I do that.
Do you know what kind of things they're gonna have in San Francisco for 8 days for all the people to do?
I don't know. I don't think I'm going to join the festivities. I think it's going to be crazy in a madhouse. So I don't know. I do know people that own season tickets, and they're not even allowed to get Super Bowl tickets, even though they're 49er season ticket holders. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. Monica.
Do you think it's right that the owners can prevent the Raiders from moving?
Yes, it's their team, so I think
But if
it's,
the team wants to move, should the other owners allow them not to move?
I don't think the other owners should have a right to tell you what to do with what you own. It may not be fair what the fans want, but people have the money to do what they want, so I think if they own the team, it's their choice.
Did they decide?
Yeah, they just said the Raiders.
They're gonna
Yeah,
stay.
They're going to stay for now.
I think San Diego is moving to
They're gonna
LA.
stay in Oakland. Is that what
Is
you're
that
saying?
the Chargers?
Yeah.
Yes.
I just saw
The
something.
St. Louis Rams are moving.
Any other questions?
I have a comment. My wife's working for part of that at the NFL Experience at Moscone Center. And they're gonna have like Super Bowl rings, they're gonna have Lombardi Trophy, they're gonna have players there for autographs. I mean, they're playing it up for the dollars, big time.
Okay, so it looks like my time is up, so I will end now. Thank you.